You are never going to believe what I'm about to tell you. Like, literally. You'll probably think that I'm crazy before you actually experience it. But it's okay, because there's nothing to know if there's nothing at all, right? Let's get straight into the video. Hold on. What do I mean by nothing at all? That's crazy. Well, let me give you a quick dopamine hit by telling you the summary of it all. Life and the experience of life is only what you're seeing, feeling, or being in the experience of life. Now that you know that, you can go ahead and live the video because you already know, you already have the awareness, you already have the lecture. So you can just let it play out and you'll probably get the knowledge. But if you want me to explain it and understand it bit by bit, stick to the end of the video. Because in this video, we will talk about how your ego, your soul, and your spirit act to create the life you're experiencing right now. And by the end of this, I will practically tell you how to actually see the life you want play out in front of you by simply observing, allowing, and accepting. For that, let me tell you a story. So let me start the story. It all starts with a monk named John and a peasant named Luke. One day, John and Luke decide to sit down on a chess of table to play a game of chess. But since the monk was very wise, he told Luke that there was only two rules. The first rule was that if Luke won, he had to play again with John. But the second rule was that if Luke decided to lose, then they would play a new game. But this new game was mysterious. He couldn't ask about the game, and he didn't know about the game. So they both decided that they were going to start playing. Luke starts playing, he starts boasting, he starts shouting, he starts telling John that he was going to lose, that he was probably going to be the worst player of all, and they start playing. After about 30 different plays, Luke won every single one of the matches. But eventually, it got to a point where John told Luke that why was he trying to win all the time? Luke got kind of incredibly astonished by this. So he decided to just tell him that, I mean, that's the purpose of it, right? That's the purpose of the game. You had to win. So Luke decides to simply ignore John's comment. They start playing again and again and again, and Luke keeps winning. Until suddenly Luke kind of starts thinking about what John had said. So he asks him, why did you tell me why did I want to win if I suppose you're trying to win too, right? This is the purpose of the game. That's when John decided to laugh a little and tell Luke that no, he actually wasn't trying to win. That all he was doing was simply letting Luke win so that he can eventually learn the lesson. That's when Luke got really astonished and he asked him, what the fuck is the lesson? What is the lesson here? And that's when John told him, I don't want to win. I only want to allow you to choose. You can choose to win or you can choose to lose. But whatever you decide, the consequence is on your side. Because if you want to keep playing this game, we can keep playing. You just have to keep winning. But if you want to play a new game, then all you have to do is choose to lose. That's how the story of your ego and your soul plays out in real life. Now, I'm going to make a really, really, really bold claim here. What if I told you that you are life itself? And you probably think I'm crazy, right? That's because you identify as whatever your name is, your status, your role, your family. I don't know, what do you identify as? And you're probably not aware of the fact that you've been there all this time. So it'd be crazy to think that you are life itself because your sense of identity and awareness are narrow. But it all starts with awareness. And here's a quote about it. The first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. Nathaniel Branden. This quote tells you exactly what I'm trying to prove in this point in this video. Why? Because your sense of identity and awareness are narrow. But what I'm trying to do with this video is bring you awareness so that you can become aware of your true self, your true identity. so that you can start playing out the life you actually want to live. But for that, you have to first become aware of how life works, how you work, and how you can allow and accept things to play out so you can become aware of your true identity. Okay, now if it's all awareness, what is your true identity? For that, let me show you this graph first about your consciousness, the map of consciousness, and how to understand your own consciousness as a human being. It all starts with a survival paradigm, then you grow and evolve into reason and integrity, and you keep on growing into spiritual paradigm. These three changes are the main changes that can occur in your lifetime, in your lifetimes, or in whatever time you're in, because your soul is beyond your human years. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Now I want to show you this image. I want you to remember what you're seeing here. I want you to think about 3 questions, specifically about what you're seeing in the image. First question, what do you think would happen if the guy in the picture would move around controlling when the light was on and choosing to always having it on? Second question, what would happen if the guy in the picture moved around controlling the light and when it was on, but chose to always have it off? And third question, how would the guy in the picture move around if he had no control over when the light was on or off, but knew that it was sometimes going to be on and sometimes going to be off? Why do I tell you this? Well, because your true identity, your true self, is energy. And energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? That's what science told us. Well, you can think of energy as consciousness or consciousness as energy. And think of yourself as the stickman, as the guy in the picture. Why? Because there is 3 things that I want to tell you in this video. How you channel that energy, your true self, what it feels like to channel your true self energy, and what the purpose of it is as you channel the energy. Because there is 3 levels to this: ego, soul, and spirit. So stick around. Let's start with ego. Let's say that you are energy, and let's keep on saying that you're energy for the rest of this video. Don't think of yourself as your name, your body, your job, your money, your girlfriends, your body, whatever you are. Don't think of it that way. Just for a second here, open your mind and think that you're energy. For the rest of the explanation, think that you're energy. So let's start with, if you're your ego and you're living as your ego, which can be your body, your mind, or we're going to explain that in another video. Think of energy as being channeled through your mind and through your eyes, therefore being logically and rationally manifested, because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Now, let's get to the next level. Let's say that you're living as your soul. Energy would be channeled through your heart and through your emotions. As the energy moves in motions, you simply react and respond to life through your emotions. Now let's think of the third level, spirit. This is when you become nothing as everything. You are simply observing everything happen for you. But this is too much to explain right now. So let me just dissect it a little bit further. As your ego, you channel life through your eyes, through logically seeing. Let's go back to the picture. Think of the guy in the picture. If he always had the light on in the room, he would logically move around, seeing stuff, interacting with the objects, moving around. If he saw something, he would probably stop to not bump into it, and he would rationally move around the room, right? That's how you've been living your life. You see things, you understand things intellectually, your mind processes stuff cognitively, and you just live your life rationally, right? Now let's get to the second level. If you were living as your soul, that means that the guy in the picture that I showed you had the light turned off the whole time. But that's crazy, right? Like, how do you move around this room if it's always dark? That's when you start using your heart, your emotions, your perception through feelings. Because just for a moment, close your eyes and try to look at the room around you. It's not like you, yeah, definitely cannot see it, but it's not like you disappear, right? It's not like you close your eyes and then suddenly poof, you disappear. Not right. So how it works is that you close your eyes and you can sense, you have a perception of what is around you. Well, the same thing happens to this guy in the picture, and this is how you live your life as your soul. You interact with life not looking at people around you, but instead looking at their heart and what their heart is manifesting, what energy in motion, what energy is moving, what emotions they're manifesting. You connect with people through your heart, through their heart. It's all heartfelt connection. In the ego, it was rationally, it was logic. You saw this person, you try to touch it, you try to interact with it, you could definitely logically move around life. Now let's use both examples to kind of contrast both. In ego, your life probably revolves around making a lot of money or making money to survive, having a lot of sex or having a relationship, having a body like losing weight or having the perfect body, like having ripped abs and everything. That is logically the best way to move around life, right? That's how it logically works. Now, if you were in your soul and you were living as your soul, then you would probably not want to make a lot of money, but instead you would like to actually monetize your passion. If you were living as your soul in relationships, you probably would just want to connect with people that make you feel understood, that you actually feel good with, that you feel loved by, that you feel love, because love is the main emotion of the soul. Then, as your body, you probably wouldn't want to have the perfect body, but instead a body that you like looking at the mirror, a body that you enjoy, that you actually feel good in. That's the soul. And now let's get into the spirit, the last level. How does the spirit work? Nothing as everything is what it works like. Is what it looks like. Sorry. So think about nothing is everything. It means that there's nothing to do, because if you have no control over when the light is going to be on, and I'm talking about the guy again. If the guy has no control over when the light switch is going to be on, when the light is going to be on, well, if he moves around the room, there's nothing but acceptance, right? He has to accept that he cannot look at the room, he cannot feel at the room. He has to accept that when the light is off, he's going to have to use his feelings. When the light is on, he's going to have to use his logic, because there is no control, because he surrenders control. Now, let's go back to the story that I told you. In the chessboard, John, the monk, would make the first move as white, and then Luke, as black, would respond to it. This means that, in this case, this is the new game. Spirit, living in spirit, living as your consciousness, living as consciousness, means that you have no control over anything. But you're nothing at all. You simply let things play out in your environment, and you interact with it, you respond to it based off of your ego and your soul. It's basically the middle point. It's learning how to use your ego when it's time to use your ego, and then using your soul when it's time to use your soul, or simply not using anything at all and allowing whatever has to come through to come through. Because instead of looking at life rationally or looking at life emotionally, you're not looking at life at all. You're observing it. You're allowing it. You're accepting it. You're not looking to control anything. You're simply letting it happen, and all you're doing is letting your body do exactly what it needs to do, going exactly where it needs to go, bringing you, and that's another thing, but bringing you everything that needs to be brought to you, because you understand that as spirit, you're not only this vessel, this vehicle, but you're also that vessel, that vehicle, whoever you are looking at this video. And then you're everything around you. That is spirit. But that's how you channel energy. Now let's get into how it feels. Okay, so what is everything? Like, I just intellectually told you everything, but what's the feeling? Like, what is an example of this? Because you can intellectually understand it, but until you don't experience it and understand how the experience works, you're not going to actually be able to gain awareness of it. So I'm going to summarize the three things first. No, actually, I'm going to explain it and then I'm going to summarize it. So it works this way. Your ego, it's basically how you've been working your whole life. You were born to live into your ego. That means making money to survive or making a lot of money, having sex, a lot of sex, or a relationship. That means losing weight, gaining weight, or having the perfect body. I don't know if you can see here, but competition, comparison. I'm better, you're worst, I'm worst, you're better. Competition is the main feeling of the ego. The ego feels like competing every single moment of your life. You live by I'm better or you're better. I'm worst or you're worst. The ego is I'm so identified with my body that if you are that body, that means that you are different. That means that you can be better. That means that you can be worse. That is the ego. Then, what does the soul feel like? What is the experience of living as your soul? I've been here, and most people get here with a spiritual awakening. That's when you realize that you're not your body, and that in reality, everything is connected, and that you are everything that you see around yourself, and also this body. That means that so within, so without. That means as above, so below. That means that reunion is the main feeling. You want to reunite with everybody because you realize that since you're everything, then you're love. That means the energy that moves around through your heart, through your heart is love because love is the main emotion of the soul. That means you're reuniting. That means for money, it's like you want to monetize your passions. Like I told you, it's simply understanding that you want to experience love more and more. That's the main feeling. Reunion, reuniting. The third experience, spirit. How does it feel like? This is more complicated because this is a higher level of awareness, and the only way of getting here is gaining awareness, asking questions, and literally gaining awareness. You ask the right questions, and then you gain awareness through responses, and you realize that, holy shit, I'm not only my soul, I'm everything and my soul. Everything and my ego. I'm nothing at all. Boom. That means that since you're your spirit, that means since you're spirit, you are the experience. That is feeling. That is the main feeling. The experience. You experience life. You don't try to achieve more. You're not trying to be better. And you're not trying to, you're not feeling more. You're not feeling love. You're simply allowing. And it's not the same as manifesting your way through life in a rock and meditating your way through life. Because that's the main difference. The main difference is gaining so much awareness that you realize that if you do nothing at all, you're still doing something because the experience of life itself is who you are. So if you're doing nothing at all, it's the perfect experience because eventually light turns into darkness and darkness turns into light because unconsciousness turns into consciousness and consciousness turns into unconsciousness, which means that if you stay seated and you don't do shit for a week, eventually you're gonna feel like shit, so you're gonna want to go to the gym or work your ass off and be productive. Those three ways of understanding it. Those are the three feelings, the main feelings of ego, soul, and spirit. Ego is competition, soul is love and reunion, and spirit is experience. That is how it works. Now, what's the purpose of it all? Like, why do I tell you that you're not your ego, you're not your soul, and you're a spirit, actually? Why do I tell you all of this? The purpose of it all is to gain awareness, is to understand destruction, construction, and acceptance. Ego is your way of interacting with the world rationally, logically. It's understanding intellectually, cognitively. Soul is feeling, it's accepting, allowing, it's connecting with others. It's simply understanding how to feel the energy in motion, the emotions, the energy that is moving through the vessel, through the vehicle. All you have to do is allow it to move through. Spirit is more complicated. I don't want to get into it because it's too hard to understand, but put in simple terms, it's simply acceptance of it all. Nothing at all. That is the life experience at this level. But you have to actually experience it to understand it. So I don't want to talk about it. let's get into practicalities actually. I promised you a practical solution, right? So let's get straight into that. This is how it works. Ego is over identified in your body right now. So all you have to do is question yourself. I empower you to become more of who you already are. Remember who you are through my voice. So I'm going to ask you a question. Who are you when you are alone? Why do you need to compete with others for the same thing they're competing? Why can you not create? That's the question you need to answer. Reply in the comments down below, and I will check the answers and see if I can help you. Soul. What is the question for the soul? The question for the soul is simply put, what are you trying to feel? Who are you trying to connect with? Why are you trying to connect with others? This awareness, gaining awareness in this way, will show you who you really are at this level, why your soul works the way it works. All you have to do is embrace the emotions that come out of your body, the vessel, the vehicle, call it what you want. Spirit. If you really want to understand spirit, acceptance is the key. There is no question for it, because there's nothing to know if there's nothing at all, right? Because this is how I will conclude the video for you. I am empowering you. Nothing to do, nothing to be. Allow to become what you already are, as who you truly are. Because you are not your feelings, you are not your thoughts, you are your emotions, you're moving, you're like water. Be like water, my friend. All you are is simply energy, moving through this 3D world as 5D consciousness. You're actually 60, 70, 80, 90. Keep going. You're all of it. You are everything there is. You're simply allowing the vehicle to transmute the energy so you can become everything out of nothing at all. You really want to become spirit, you really want to allow your consciousness to flow through, all you need to do is allow words to drop into your mind, use your voice to speak them into existence, and act out of what you speak, what you write, what you think. Respond in the comments down below whatever you think about, feel about, or whatever you want to communicate to me. I'll respond. I'll see how I can best help you. But I'm here to empower you. Because energy cannot be created. There's one last thing I want you to know. Remember, energy, nor destroyed, nor created. Simply allow it to move through your body. All you need to do is become who you already are, king or queen.